Hello and welcome back to the Mogul Performance Podcast. This is a show where leaders come to sharpen their edge, stretch their limits, and lead with a purpose. I am your host, Evan, and I am a leadership coach, an organizational psychologist, and someone who's a little too obsessed with helping people reach the version of themselves that they know that they were born to be. Now, before we get started in today's episode, I want to remind you that if you are ready to level up your leadership journey, go ahead and check out our website. Check out the core MVP and Mogul coaching packages at mogulperformance.com, especially if you want to take advantage of assessments like the Myers-Briggs, the Thomas Kilmann, or the FIRO-B. We use these assessments along with other 360 assessments that are tailored to each and every single individual that we work with to help them elevate their leadership impact. All right, with that aside, let's go ahead and get into it. So I just want to get this out of the way. Today we're going to be talking about what is a mogul? What is a mogul? And sometimes when people ask, what is Mogul Performance? There's something completely often left field that comes up in their minds. And they go straight to skiing. Yes, like with the poles, skiing down a mountain. They think as the word mogul means a bump, a ski slope on a hill. That is another term for what a mogul is. Now listen, I get it. I totally understand. You know, I used to snowboard. I face planted enough on moguls before on other ski resorts that I used to snowboard on often, and I can understand that confusion. But I'm not talking about a ski bump that sends you flying up into the air. What I'm talking about is a mogul, someone who is important in their lives and with other people and are looked up to and aspired to. A mogul, a leader, someone who refuses to drift through life and just let it happen to them. Someone who doesn't wait for opportunities, they build on those opportunities. Someone who leads their life, their business, and their relationships with intention. A mogul, a leader, they create, shape, and drive their legacy every single day, every single moment of their waking day. So let's define what a mogul is. A mogul, again, a leader, is someone who takes responsibility for their growth. They lead within before they try to lead anyone else. They lead themselves first. They forge their own path, even when it is uphill. Sometimes they have to take that hard path, even though there's one that's right off on the other side that is clearly paved for them to use. But they say, no, I want to make my own path. I want to do what is right for my life and for my team and my individuals. And when I say leader, I don't mean you necessarily have to have people that are directly reporting to you, direct reports, employees, team members, whatever word you want to use there. That's not what I'm saying about leader. When I'm talking about a leader, I'm talking about maybe you are a dad, you are a mom, you are a family figure of some sort, you are a mentor, you are a coach. You are trying to take care of your own life. You are leading yourself in some way or some form. So every single person listening to this right now, you are a leader in some way or some form. And leaders, they know when to press forward and they know when to pause. And they break through limiting beliefs and outdated systems. It's not about wealth or status or the number of followers. It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. Something that moguls and leaders, they practice this daily in their routine, in the mundane, in the days they're sick, in the days they don't want to get out of bed. We've coached moguls, leaders who are executives, business owners, creatives, engineers, veterans, nurses, donut shop owners, you name it. We've done it all. But what do they all have in common? They lead themselves with discipline and they never, ever, ever stop evolving. Ever. Let's talk about how do you become a mogul? What do I need to do in order to become a mogul? Well, first, you got to lead yourself. Lead yourself first. If you can't lead yourself, then you can't lead a team. And if you can't lead a team, you can't lead a company. If you can't lead a company, you're not following the mission, and everything falls apart. So you need to be able to lead yourself first. Take care of yourself. You got to make sure that your life is in line before other people's lives are in line. And then that is when you can start leading and making an impact with other people that are around you. What does that mean? That means having clear habits, standards, and a mission for your life, not just your business or your company or your team. Second is to invest in your energy. What does this mean? This means prioritizing your health, your recovery, your sleep, your emotional fitness, how you show up. Are you able to handle hard conversations? Burned out leaders, they're not going to build a lasting legacy. They will get upset, they'll storm off, and no one's going to respect them. And then what happens? They crash. And when they crash, they take their teams right down with them. The third is to make decisions fast, methodically, and with purpose. Moguls, leaders, talking to you, you don't sit in indecision, in the weeds, and look around and try to think about, what should I do here? I don't know what to do. I'm gonna sit on it. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. Moguls don't just wait and see what happens. They weigh the facts. They trust their intuition, that gut feeling, and they take action. Speed and decisiveness matter in leadership. And not only in leadership, that matters in business performance. What about your competitors? Are they making decisions more quickly than you are, or your business? Who's going to win? Who's making decisions first? Even if you don't make the right decision, fail forward, because paralysis is a dream killer. The fourth, you may have heard me say this before, play the long game. It is their leaders are not into being a leader, being a mogul for quick wins that they get every day. Now we can have quick wins, whether that means we didn't hit snooze in the morning, that's great. But we're talking about quick, cheap wins in your daily work, maybe taking shortcuts on working on projects. They're in it, leaders, to build something that lasts, a legacy, a lifetime that will create impact. Something that others can say, dang, that leader, that's who I want to be. That's who I want to be around. A mogul, they don't hoard wisdom. They develop others. They empower their teams. They give back what they've learned. That's legacy, and that is leadership. So what do we need to shift from? We got to start asking ourselves some questions. Instead of saying, what do I have to do today? And logging in and looking at your calendar, or pulling up your phone and looking at your calendar, and just letting life happening to you, you ask when you wake up, who am I becoming today? And what actions do I need to take in order to make that happen? And we got to shift from asking ourselves, you know what? I think I'll wait until I'm ready. No, you need to move to, I'll start now and grow along the way. No matter if I fail, I will fail forward. And also, moving from the question of, this is how it's always been. If it ain't broke, I don't want to fix it. It's not my problem. Well, that's not the right mindset. What a mogul does, they think and they ask, what if there's a better way? They stay curious and they ask questions. Being a mogul, a leader, that means owning your time, owning your influence, and taking full ownership of the direction that your life is headed. And you don't get there overnight, but you do get there through repetition, being consistent, doing the things that are hard over and over and over again. And some days that might just be logging in and sending emails, one of the easiest things that we can do. And sometimes that can take a lot out of us. But just remember that your 100% is also going to look different every single day. But what a mogul does is they stay consistent and they repeat the actions that need to be done every day. They use the right tools and they have the right people in their corner with them. They know who to draw upon. At Mogul Performance, we have worked with high performing leaders they were stuck at some point, at some place or some point. You know what got you here today, wherever you are right now in your position in your life, whatever you've done has led up to this very moment that you are in right now. But in order to get to that next step where you want to go in your future, whatever that is, what you did in the past may not work in the future. And it's about shifting that mindset and breaking away from old habits or old ways of doing things, which may have been good and were done with good intention, but they won't work if you're trying to take those next steps. People who were great, the people who we worked with who were great, they didn't they didn't just do it by scaling themselves up and just focusing on themselves. They developed others and they were able to lead through complexity. So what helped some prior mogul leaders work through some of the challenges that they faced to become unstuck? Regaining clarity. Coaching is a powerful tool for that. And when's the last time you've actually sat down and had a 1 hour conversation with somebody with absolutely no distractions, who is intentionally and skillfully listening to you, trying to pick out certain things that you're saying that could potentially be holding you back? Setting boundaries too is another big one. Sometimes, guilty as charged, we open up our calendars for everybody. We want to help everyone, as leaders, as servant leaders, we want to help everybody. But if we don't respect our time, who else is going to? So you have to set boundaries for your time or other boundaries outside of your life. What does that look like? Building confidence. We talked about imposter syndrome before, or imposter phenomenon, as it was originally known, to that was holding us back. Sometimes we're like, I don't know if I know this answer, so I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to sound like I'm wrong. You know it all along. You are here for a reason. The position that you are in, you were picked to put in that position. I don't care who you are. You didn't do it on your own. People have chosen you to be where you are right now. And then making tough decisions. Again, making those split-second decisions. Sometimes it's about having those hard conversations. With all the changes that are going on right now in today's economy and within government, it's hard to have some of these tough conversations, and we need to have the fortitude and also not only again the emotional intelligence, but the emotional fitness. Are we able to show up and have these conversations? And coaching can help us rebuild some of that. And lastly, creating a thriving team culture. If there's one bottom line thing that you will see that the most successful companies have, they have a thriving team culture. They have a culture where people love showing up to work, and we see them. They tell us, "I love my job. I love what I do." They will do nearly anything for their boss. Sometimes it's not even about the organization itself. It's about the organization training and developing their leaders, building leaders who are respected but carrying other teams. They are servant leaders. And when you are a true servant leader, your team members will do anything for you. Moguls, they don't just go out and say, I think I'm going to figure it out. I'll just, we'll see what happens. They become a leader. They become a mogul in their own right, forging their own pathway and creating a strategy around that. So if you've ever felt like you are meant for more in your life, in your career, or leadership, matching what you know you're capable of, you're not alone. But that's your cue. That's your moment, and that is your sign. Start leading like a mogul. Create your path. Step into that next version of yourself. It is there. Unlock it, and we can help you do that. And hey, if you are ready to work with someone who's been there, been in the trenches, and done these hard things, and has developed and scaled and led, and you need help walking through that path, go to mogulperformance.com and book a discovery call. Let's have a conversation. We got your back. And just remember, don't forget, be a mogul.